want you guys to hear what Errol Spence Jr. had to say the other day. He had some. It's pretty spicy. It's pretty juicy. Spider.
Like how, you know, different American guys, root for, the guy Tyson Fury, and he's from the UK. When all the UK guys going for their guy, all the boxers going for, Tyson Fury, and all the fans are going for Tyson Fury. And then we got people here that's, that got split support, and a lot of Americans are going for, Tyson Fury. And I don't like that at all.
Oh, what's your reaction to that? He doesn't like the fact that Americans are rooting against the American fighter. Well, Manny, what are your thoughts on that, brother?
First of all, I think I don't agree with what he's saying. I think a lot of people are rooting for the division, the heavyweights. The heavyweights, it's been in the shadow for so many years, and we are a powerhouse when it comes to sports across the board, especially in boxing. And now that the heavyweights, they have all the attention, it takes away from the fighters on possibly maybe the division that was taken over when the heavyweights weighed down at the welterweight, and now feeling that there's no love right now because the attention is there, is people are still going to root for that. So I really didn't get the messages. What he's saying is divided. I think just people are really rooting for their preferred boxer, or simply they're just a fan.
For me, there's a lot of different directions you could take it. One, when I first heard it, I was thinking, he's standing up for his boy. He wants Americans because, he is a former Olympian. So is,
it makes sense.
Deontay Wilder. So they have the mindset of, countrymen supporting them. But also, too, the UK is a total different dynamic than the U.S. in regards to how we're broke up as far as, our fan bases, how people support. And I'll just say for me, yeah, I am an American. I always want the American to win, but they've already fought twice, right?
And he got beat twice.
And he got beat twice.
And he got destroyed on the second time.
Right.
There's no questions asked there.
At some point, you got to cut the cord. So from my standpoint, yeah, I want the American to always win. I want, them to represent themselves and to have a good showing. But from the standpoint of the sport of boxing, I want a unified champion. And what better way to expand and make the sport, more universally accepted and people get excited about it than to have a huge mega fight with one of our best fan bases. And that's another thing, too. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging the fact that certain groups are just more passionate, more, strongly connected to the sport. The strongest fan bases.
Which groups are those, Sean?
That would be, I'll say the first one and you can say the next one. Would be the UK fan base, right? The British fan base. And the other would be Hopper. He's pointing right now.
Viva la Raza Mexico. And that's where I wanted to jump in and touch on this, because boxing can be very territorial. Especially if you started watching boxing at a young age. It's an opportunity for fans to show their nation's pride. And I'm speaking personally myself, because I do follow boxers from other countries. How much do I talk about my boy Luke Campbell from the UK?
Quite a bit.
And I'm Mexican. How much do I talk about Jorge Linares? How much do I talk about Chocolatito from Nicaragua?
They've all been
I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
Hey, I talk a lot about the king.
Yeah,
I know nothing about Ukraine.
Yeah, but personally for myself, and I'll go ahead and admit it, I'll go ahead and confess it. You guys know my love for Canelo, for all the Mexican fighters.
Everyone knows your love for Canelo, brother.
I will always support La Raza 7 days of the week. So I can see where Errol Spence is coming from. And maybe he felt when he fought Mikey Garcia, what did he call it? The blind loyalty?
Blind loyalty. So that's a great point. And, I know it's going to be kind of touching a nerve for some people, but it's a reality. I know from my standpoint, yeah, I'm a brother from Texas. I'm the gringo of the team. I went to that fight, and there were, clear lines drawn, right? Mm-hmm. But for me, like watching the fight, yeah, I'm a brother. I'm from Texas. Immediately you're thinking, oh, well, of course I'm going to be going from, Errol Spence Jr. And I was, right? But I'm also a fan of Mikey Garcia. Yep. The reason that I was swayed, actually for me, though, was not race, it's state.
Right.
Because that's one thing that I'll say is different for me. I don't care what your ethnicity is, and I never really do. If that person,
who cares?
If they're from Texas, 10 times out of 10, I'm going with them.
Yeah,
right,
yeah, exactly.
Unless they're the Charlo brothers, but that's a different story.
Oh, don't get me started on the Charlo bros.
But shout out. But overall, everybody else, especially Errol Spence. Come on, man, Errol Spence. Yeah. I mean, I remember when he made the Olympic team, so it's a total different point of view. So for me, I feel there's nothing wrong with that, and I think that we should embrace the fact that people are drawn because of culture connections. Call them what you will, but yeah, some people do support boxing because of the racial pride. Yeah. It is what it is, right?
It is
pride, and
it is.
Yeah, and that's understandable.
And nothing wrong with that. It is understandable, and sometimes you have an amazing athlete. In this case, I believe that Wilder, I don't see he's got a lot of boxing skills, but he draws attention, and as a fan, I liked to see him fight. I'm not a huge fan that I'll go crazy, but he draws attention. He brings drama, and there is excitement in the ring, especially when you're waiting to do second punch. So there are mixed emotions, and there's people who are not a fan of him, but they have so much talent that I become a fan. So he's definitely got a lot of haters, and I think he's looking into more protecting, the people he knows, and the local champions, and you got freedom of speech. You can say anything you like. The difference is you're a high profile guy that everyone's going to look at it at their own perspective, and your perspective is different than anyone else.
And here's the thing, especially I'll be honest, going into Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder 1, I was rooting for Deontay Wilder because, of course, he's American. So yes, I was definitely rooting for Deontay Wilder, but. And this is just me speaking for myself. After the fight, how that fight went down, the fact that Tyson Fury won, in my opinion, and many of everyone's opinion, won the first fight. The way that went down, the way he was robbed, and then you add the fact that Fury's charisma, his humor, his fighting style, and then a lot of his post interviews that you see. And plus the comeback story, it all just builds to a very marketable, likable fighter. And then once you take into account how many excuses has Deontay Wilder had? I'm up 379 now since he lost his second fight, and then it just sways people to become Tyson Fury fans, just like myself. I mean, I was rooting for Wilder,
that's a huge point.
But after Wilder, drew with Fury, and then Fury dominated him, and then you see how they reacted to the win and the loss. It's hard to not become a Tyson Fury fan.
That's a great point, Hopper. I love that take because that's actually the emotion I had. I'm American first. I wanted to see what Deontay Wilder could do. Have that great excitement of the heavyweights go back and forth.
But he lost the fight, objectively speaking.
He lost the fight.
And not only that, he was losing the fight against Luis Ortiz. So it's just not only one hiccup.
He was losing the fight against Washington.
And then all of a sudden you come back again and you get destroyed the way you did. And the way you handle things afterwards, you created more enemies. You created more enemies, and a lot of fans are gonna start piling up their things and packing up. And I am definitely gonna root more for what's happening and the contracts being signed for next year for the two fights, rather than think about the fight that's going to happen Wilder and Fury 3.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, that's the thing for me. Like, that's what swayed me away from, I guess, wanting to, be a fan, I guess, or be a supporter. I'm always going to support any boxer, but the fact that there were so many excuses, I didn't want to get lumped into that.
Yeah.
You're a Deontay Wilder fan, and you believe in glove gate or costume gate.
45 pounds
glove gate.
Yeah. Why didn't you test it for like an hour 3 days before?
That's your own fault.
I mean, exactly.
Like mule water gate. I mean, they've had all kinds of excuses that are honestly, it's a turnoff.
Oh, the glove. What is it? The Tyson Fury's glove. In one
it's
shot,
so dumb.
It kind of looked like weird. Feel like it was wobbly
and then
or something.
They were
like
taking stuff from the first fight and trying to argue it was in the second. It was just so dumb.
No,
I couldn't believe some of the stuff that was.
The one that I have heard that I guess would be that's normal in regard to and that's always a conversational point of conversation. The count, the count from the first fight. That how long and when did he take? But people, again, for boxing fans that support it, it's not actually seconds. It's the count of the referee.
The referee.
Right. So
it's not like, oh, he touched the canvas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No. It's his count. So
once
Deontay Wilder gets in his corner, he looks at the ring helpers at the ring. Then he picks up his count.
Exactly. So you know what? For those that have the conspiracy theorists or the ones that are, I'll just say in denial that Deontay Wilder lost that fight and definitely lost the second fight. That's the one I can kind of see. But all of the other stuff is just witchcraft, man. Like I feel uncomfortable even talking about that stuff. We haven't really talked about that stuff on the show because it's not show worthy to me because it's not boxing.
It's not feasible. It doesn't make sense.
Well, I think people only wanted to see Wilder.
It fits their narrative. That's what people wanted to see.
People wanted to see Wilder because of the knockout power he had. And,
he's won 2 rounds.
40-0 before he got his first. He lost his streak of knockouts. So people were just kind of rooting for something different. Let's go see what this guy does. And it kind of reminded me of Tyson back in the days because everyone would tune in. No one would care to pay a $50 pay-per-view at that time to see Tyson for 5 to 10 seconds. But people wanted to be there. People wanted we want to see history. We want to see how this guy turns out to be. And I think once that streak went away and people realized he lacks in some boxing skills, he lost a lot of credibility and a lot of fans. And then you come in social medias and all over the news of what we were talking about, all these kind of excuses. So
so basically Errol Spence, ultimately people are going to root for whoever they want to root for.
Yeah.
Right.
So it is a territorial sport. It is a nationalistic sport. You root for the people from your home country, from your home sport, but hey, come on, baby. You can root for whoever you like. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Don't care about race.
We have boxing
don't care
favorites
about
all
ethnicity.
over the world. My boy Luke Campbell. Let's go.
Lucas.
Thank you, guys.